So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
There we go. I don't have to do it a second time. Good morning. We got a little coffee, a little bit of donuts today. Thank you guys so much for making the space to come out and chat with me this morning. My name is Carter McKinney from McKinney Media. I do photography, video, and marketing, right? So that's media production, creating the content with phones, drones, video cameras like you see here and there, and then actually deploying those assets that we create online. A lot of you guys will do it on social media. You also do it on your website and even having a YouTube channel. Does anyone have a YouTube channel?
No, it's just you.
Yeah, I've been working on mine. Ashley has me beat. But yes, guys, today I'm talking about online presence, right? So if you are not online on Google, on social media, and the various search engines, even where AI can find you, right? AI is growing rapidly. You need to be visible and you need to be consistent, right? So today, I grew up playing baseball. It wasn't my biggest thing, but today I'm gonna use baseball as an analogy for talking about online presence, right? So one thing that I do wanna get started with is anyone that has a phone, I understand that we wanna capture content and stuff like that. Out of respect, if you guys could just put your phone on the floor underneath your seat, I would really appreciate it. It just helps us be intentional and have a conversation right here, right now, okay? I also am recording this, so we'll be able to see it later. But with my baseball analogy, who knows baseball? Let me see any baseball fans in the room. Okay, so a couple. So with baseball, you guys have to walk up to home plate, right? To stand in the batter's box and be able to take a pitch and hit the ball, right?
Yes.
So if you start at home plate, that would be your website, right? So your website, who has a website? Let me see, raise high so I can see. So a little more than half of the people here have a website. Your website is really important because it is your storefront. Just like we're standing here in Venture X is here 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, right? And someone work in the front desk. Not everyone can afford to have that, or it's not realistic for everybody to have that, right? So you have to invest in your website, right? Websites have been around since the early 2000s, maybe even prior, right? But now, 25, 26 years later, a lot of people have websites, some people don't. But the truth is that is a very important part. It is the home base of baseball. It is the backbone of your business, right? So even if your storefront, if you do have a storefront, I know some of you do, your website is a storefront that never closes, right? With your website, there's three key things that I want you to consider. One, your website needs to be highly informative and it needs to be fast. It needs to be informative, fast. So your website needs to tell your potential buyer or investor, it needs to tell them why are they here, why should they stay, and why should they purchase in under 10 seconds. Visitors to your website are going to want to see dynamic visual content like photos and videos like we talked about media production, and then they're also going to want to see some copy, in other words writing, about your business using keywords. What is a keyword? A keyword is a word or words that tell somebody based on where you are, what you do, or what you're offering. So for keywords, for example, for a office space like Venture X, shout out to Venture X and Terry, been great to me in my journey, and thanks for having us here today. And thank you as well to Darnell of the Connections Café and Evolve Group and Pathway to Autonomy as well for having me. For example, for a Lehigh Valley co-working office space, right? So let's break that down threefold. So we're in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Not everyone that views your content is going to know what Lehigh Valley is. Is that even a city? No, it's not. It's not even a county. It's just a region, right? So you're gonna wanna maybe say Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and maybe consider USA as you could start to increase your business potentially internationally, right? So you're gonna wanna say Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, co-working, which says that it's not just private offices, right? And it's also an event space. And then you're gonna wanna say that it's an office space because that's what it is. You can do work here, you can do events, and you can do all kinds of things in this space. So that is your home plate. You're stepping up to the batter's box, you're ready to hit, and that's your website. Your website doesn't have to be crazy expensive. It can. It can be custom, it can be every single part is manually built. But you can also use AI tools to build your website. You can use different point of sale systems. Point of sale is how you charge your clients. For example, a Square or a Stripe or a Shopify. There's different ways that you can put up a site for either free or very cheap. So your website is the cornerstone, is the backbone, is the home plate to your business and game of business, right? Then we're gonna run off to first base, right? So first base is Google. I guarantee everybody knows what Google is. My business actually runs on Google, and what I mean by that is all my emails go through Google, all my documents, notes, and even forms, right? That clients fill out, and students and interns and all of those things, they use my Google Forms and my Google Workspace is what it's called. What I want to talk specifically about today is the fact that you need to set up a Google My Business listing. Who has a Google My Business listing? So a lot of people do. The reason why Google My Business listing is important is I'm always going to give you things in 3's. One, your data and the information about your business is on there. The name of your business. What kind of business are you, right? What are your hours of operation? And your contact information. Are you by appointment only, or can we walk in at any time? This is the important part of your Google My Business listing. And one thing that I do want to throw out to you, a lot of the time Google wants you to have a physical storefront or a physical location to have a Google My Business listing, but the truth is you do not. You can be a service-based business and set your territory. Is your territory Pennsylvania? Is it the Northeast, which is, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania? Is it the whole country? Is it the whole world? You can map out where your service area is if you're a mobile business. That's also the truth. Sometimes it could be a little bit trickier, but what you can do is you can go in as a customer because Google wants to cater to their customers more than anything. If someone says, hey guys, there's a business that you don't even know exists, you guys need to know. Or hey, this business is actually closed. I pulled up and it was closed. You can go in on the customer side on Google, Apple, Bing, because not everyone has an iPhone. Apple and Google partner, right? So if you go on Safari, which is the native browser on an iPhone, it's going to be automatically connected to Google. But if you have an Android, it's most likely going to go to Bing or another search engine. So you want to keep that in mind as well, because your competition might not know that. So that being said, you want to have your business listing up to date on Google. 86% of buyers, I'm specifically today talking about service-based businesses, but this does apply to products as well. 86% of buyers are going to search online before purchasing your product. And only 1% of purchasers are going to purchase your product if you're on the second or less page on Google. One other thing that I really want to touch on here is reviews. Google reviews are paramount because not only does it help you produce those keywords, right? Oh, Carter was great. He did photos for our newborn baby. He did photos for our baby shower. He did photos for our graduation, for business headshots. When they're writing that data, it's keywords. And Google is searching right through those reviews as well. So it is extremely important to collect those reviews and also trust. People purchase based on trust. I know that whenever I'm in a different place, I'm with important people for business or my family or anything like that, I could be risking my own name or risking out on a great opportunity to be with family if I take them to the wrong place and we get bad service. So I'm looking through those reviews. Reviews are paramount. After every single purchase, after every experience, send people your Google review. Even if you're doing something free like this, I might ask you guys to give me a Google review, but there's no shame in building your Google reviews like that. You can also build reviews on your own platform. You can collect written reviews to share as a testimonial. You can share reviews on Facebook and other platforms as well. So get creative with collecting reviews. The next step is social media, which this is my thing. This is my claim to fame. When I first started my business, yes, I was a photographer and I did photos and videos, but I immediately got hired just based on my knowledge of social media, scrolling as a young person on Instagram. It got me hired with 2 different restaurants, some of the most popular in the area, to do social media management and make thousands a month guaranteed when I first started. So social media is so important. I'm not gonna give you guys too much of old information on social media. The old information from 5-10 years ago is that you should be posting once a day to five times a week to once a day. That's old. So what I'm gonna tell you that's new is that social media is video oriented. It's not too new, but yes, you should be posting videos. If you'll notice, on average, your viewer count for a static post, which just means a photo, can hover between 300 to roughly 1,000 or 1,200, depending on your follower base. With videos, I'm seeing that I'm getting a minimum of 2,500 to 3,000. If you're paying attention to the numbers, that's about 3 times as frequent. You also want to pay attention to how long your videos are. If they're longer than 90 seconds, Instagram will not show it to new audiences. They won't. So you are penalizing yourself by doing long form content on Instagram. You're going to want to post that. I have seen success on Facebook, but they are moving away from it, but more specifically on YouTube, right? That's where you can tell the story of a 1-hour podcast video. And then you can break that podcast video down and post it 3 to 5 times on social media, right? And you're going to want to post it on every platform. Yes, if you're not on social media at all today, you're going to want to start with one platform. Pick your favorite and start there. I know some people in the room are big on LinkedIn. That's actually my biggest one. It's not my favorite, but I have 7,000 followers on LinkedIn, right? My favorite is Instagram because the trends and the history of Instagram and how it's connected to Facebook. Don't forget about Facebook, young people. Don't forget about Facebook, anyone, because they have over 3 billion people that are recurring people. 3 million people, rather, I'm sorry. 3 million users regularly. So you're gonna wanna focus on Facebook, and you can connect Instagram and Facebook so that they can share to each other automatically. So that's social media. You're gonna wanna post regularly. You're gonna wanna post videos. And whenever you're posting a video, try to put some words on top of the video. That's called copy. You're gonna wanna put words on top of the video explaining what the video is. Majority of users are actually listening and watching your content without audio. So these are different things to consider. You can also use trending audio to connect with bigger audiences, right? The last, if we're keeping track of bases, we're at home base with our website. We're gonna go to first base with Google. We're running to second base with social media, and we're going to third base with AI, right? So AI is taking off. I know some people in the room are AI pros, but others are not. AI can be scary. You can think that AI is taking our jobs or can turn into Terminator and come for us all. But the truth is that AI is a tool, and you will be replaced. People that are not using AI will be replaced by people that will. That's way before AI, just lives for us or they turn into humanoids, right? So with AI, my advice is this. Focus on the different areas that I touched on in terms of social media, website, and Google, because that's where AI is looking. You are going to not only want to post photos and videos and written word on your website and social media, but you need to focus on that written word because that's what AI does. It's called a large language model, at least a lot of the AI products. So you are going to want to focus on quality writing, making sure that your information is consistent along different platforms, and that is how AI can find you, right? Getting in different directories. There's all kinds of different directories, whether it's a Chamber of Commerce, that one you'll have to pay. Other ones are free. You can search for them, you can find them, you can reach out to your local county, your city, your state, and even when I'm hosting events, there's the city calendar for any city. Most cities you can either email or submit your event directly. You can also reach out to local news outlets to give you coverage, because not only is that getting the word out there on television or online, but it's also a credit-worthy source. You become a credit-worthy source when you get covered by a news outlet. So when you're doing an event or when you start a new venture or a new product line, you're gonna wanna do what's called a press release. You're gonna wanna take a list of media contacts and you're gonna wanna email them. You can even DM them on social media, which you'll probably have less success that way. But email out to all of the media outlets, any stakeholders that could be interested in what you're doing. Could it be a partner? Is it someone that already has a bunch of students? Maybe bless you. Could it be a place with a bunch of students, maybe a school, that you can get access to their student base? Could it be a large business office that has tons of business tenants? Could it be someone that wants to use your product, like a coffee, right? For an event like this that has tons of people that want coffee? Get creative, and you'll see that when you step up to the plate of business in the game of business, you'll start at home base with your website, you'll step to the first base with Google and other search engines. You'll go to second base, right, with social media. You're gonna wanna post at least 5 times a week, if not once a day, if you can. Just start where you can. And try to adapt. One other thing about social media, you're gonna wanna adapt your post to each platform. There's character limits on each platform. X, otherwise known as Twitter, and Threads are very similar. Threads is a Meta or Facebook product. It's connected to Instagram and Facebook. If you didn't know, Facebook owns Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads and other platforms, right? You cannot put the same message on every platform, but you can change it and adapt it. So that being said, you're gonna wanna do a short post on Threads and X. You're gonna wanna do a more visually engaging post for Instagram and Facebook, but you can write there as well. LinkedIn is where you can write the big paragraphs. I know some of you guys like to write big stories. I read them. But you're gonna wanna be intentional about where you do that, right? And then TikTok, obviously very short. You can use a couple hashtags. Hashtags are dying a little bit right now currently. But you're gonna wanna focus on the visuals and then give a small keyword heavy caption. And one thing that is very important with any area of this, Google, website, AI, or social media, is that you're gonna wanna have a call to action. Now that I have you guys up here and everyone's looking at me, what do I want you to do? I can say all this stuff about online presence and social media, but what I really want you guys is to check out McKinney Media, the McKinney School of Media and Marketing, and the Entrepreneurs Club, right? So that's my piece on online presence. If you guys have any questions, now's the time. Again, we start at home plate with your website. We go to first base with the search engines like Google, second base with social media, and third base with AI. A few AI platforms that I'm invested in right now, obviously ChatGPT. It is one of the best for memory. So as you talk to it, it's going to remember what you have to say. But most times you have to tell it. You have to say, hey, remember this, right? And then it will have a little prompt that shows up in gray on the top left of the message, and it'll say, boom, save to memory. If it doesn't and it just tells you without that little thing, it's not really working, at least at present. Another one, and you're not gonna wanna use one AI, you're gonna wanna use multiple. And I know that sounds weird if you're not in this space yet, but you're gonna wanna use ChatGPT and maybe a Claude or a Google Gemini. So that is my piece on AI. You're gonna wanna use it, get familiar with it, just experiment. It's a little uncomfortable. And the last tip that I have for you with AI is talk to it, right? So there's a feature called dictation that in the bottom, for my device on an Apple specifically, an Apple phone, bottom right corner, you're gonna click the little microphone. Not where it's talking back to you, not that feature, but only when you talk to it and then it writes back to you. Sometimes I find that the results are not as good when you're talking to it and it talks back to you. It's a little more conversational and less statistics. So, and also shorter responses. So what you're gonna wanna do is use dictation, talk to it, your phone will type it, you send it, and then it'll send it back to you in a more detailed format written. So the last, one other thing is that when you are using AI, you gotta give it context and you also have to give it a job. So you have to tell it what job position that you want it to do. With any job position, there needs to be a title and a description. So for example, if you want to talk to me, say, hey, act as Carter McKinney, an expert on photography, video, and marketing, and I want you to create this. And then go back and forth with it. It'll ask you clarifying questions, and I want you to ask it clarifying questions. So that's a little bit about your website, search engines, social media, and AI. So I hope you guys hit a home run with online presence, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you all this morning. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that was great information. Where do you stand with the newer platforms like Blue Sky, Lemonade, Substack, all those new ones? Because there's a lot of them.
Mhm.
Huh? Well, it's getting a little old, but you know,
Yes.
seriously.
So admittedly, this is a new space even for me. My expertise mainly lies in the large language models like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude, as well as some of the image creation ones like Kriya and other ones. I have not tried Lemonade or the ones that you
Well,
referred
Lemonade
to.
and Blue Sky are basically like,
I think Blue Sky's similar to Twitter, no?
they're similar to Twitter, yeah. They're kind of a hybrid of all the socials.
Yes,
And Substack is basically,
I've seen a lot of people using it for blogs.
It's kind of like a
Yeah,
blog or a
blog
journal.
posts. I have one
Yeah.
person that I've been interacting with, one of my clients that uses Substack for blog posts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they'll write something on Facebook and they'll call to action. They'll say, hey, check me out on Substack.
Right.
Jihadi, did you have a question?
My question is, you left us at third base, how do we get back home?
So how do you get home? So you're gonna wanna focus on home base, first base, second and third, and then that is what will get you home. There's mainly 4 topics to the analogy that I was making. So that'll bring you home if you focus on all of them.
Got it.
Yes,
I love it though, that's
Yes.
good, comprehensive.
yes.
Maybe we'll have a follow-up with, if you guys want to, maybe I'll do a connection cafe where we talk AI. I actually built 2
AI.
AI programs right now. Matter of fact, our main software for BDAS is called Nexus, which is an AI that we've kind of started writing and putting together. And it's also a combination of, it's an AI-driven CRM and marketing platform that we started building. So maybe that's what we'll do in March after.
Are you sure we're gonna have time to do that?
It's third week. It's third week.
Oh, it's the third week, all right, so we have
We
2
still have time.
whole weeks, 1 week
Yeah.
to sleep and then 1 week to do it.
Yeah,
Okay, I got
it's
it.
non-stop. You decide
You
to
got
come
it.
onto the team, you know what happens now.
Were there any other questions before we close out?
I'm trying to gather it.
Take your
but,
time.
What are some systematic habits that you can advise people here today to keep it afloat, like to when you have clients after you finish your deliverables and everything
Mhm.
like that, gearing them to do a Google review, or how do you do a systematic flow? I know that's a large scale question.
No, yeah.
And you have to do like day by day to keep it a
To
habit,
train them,
but like
yeah.
even like,
Yeah,
I know
a CRM system. Go ahead, finish your question.
I'm a pro at that. But
Yes, you build CRMs.
yeah, I'm a pro at CRM system, but meaning like with your clients, with your day-to-day clients who's not necessarily a CEO, business owner, how do you get them to like a systematic view? A systematic habit for us
Mhm.
to gear your clients to do maybe the Google reviews, also a systematic habit on how to post daily or do certain things. Like how do you make it a habit?
How do you make posting a habit? Because I understand the review part.
Yeah, posting a habit, like posting a habit or the things that you mentioned,
Mhm.
those things, it sounds very, it's, in a, it, those things are implemented through systems and through habits. So
Yes.
how do you make
Absolutely, that's a great question. So that's a great one to close out with. So for the reviews part, whenever I send a client gallery or some work, I'll attach my Google review right to it. So I use a platform where it's an online gallery system. I'll upload my content and then I'll email it out to the client, and it has an area embedded in it for writing, for copy. And I'll say, hey, this is how you access the gallery. Here's my link for a Google review. Please just take a moment. It helps us connect with more clients like you, right? So that's a systematic habit. And if you're not like me and you don't have that system, just email them. Just email them, call them, text them with the link. And you can even post it on social media. Hey, if you've worked with us in the past and love your experience, please leave a review. Another systematic habit is turning your link into a QR code, which you can use as a barcode on a flyer, or you can use it as a social post, or however you'd like to use that. And then for the creating social media content as a habit, Most people work at least 5 days a week in the office, Monday through Friday. Let's use that as an example. Each day at the office, you're going to be busy working in your business. How are you going to work on your business doing social media? The real truth and the key thing that will take you to the next level is trying not to separate them. Let it be a part of what you're doing, and I know you're a pro at that. Setting up the camera to the side and let it record you as you do behind the scenes content is one. You're going to want to write that down. Behind the scenes. Another one is frequently asked questions, right, about your business. Another one is introducing a new product or service, and there's various other ways, but those are three that I can give you. I hope that answered your question. Good morning, yes.
So, unfortunately, our time is
Yes.
up. You guys can spend the next little bit of time speaking with Carter afterwards, but we got to give the man back his space, right? So after, if you guys want to meet over there and what have you, that would be delightful to have you guys stick around, talk, have a conversation, ask him some more questions and what have you. But I think the better thing is to kind of toss at your question is depending on the CRM platform, you pre-post everything. And that gives you consistency. That's what I like to do. I post all the way out for at least a week or so in order to do so. And then great platforms like podcasts and stuff like that will also help you drive traffic. So anyway, thank you for attending our January, our very first Connection Cafe for the year. Don't you worry, we're going to let you know when the rest of them are now that you're on our system. You're going to see more things coming out of this new system that we have with Connection Cafe, and maybe you will be considered as a cup of connection speaker through our espresso shots. Thank you for stopping through. Thank you for giving us your last hour. We appreciate you. And thank you, Terry, for allowing us to host here at VentureX. God bless. Take care.
Can you just shout out yourself and where to find you and your companies online?
Nah, y'all can do that later. I'm just messing with you.
Call to action.
Yeah, call to action. There you go.